46 unpacking President Biden's tough new measures to fight COVID-19.
The rules impacting millions of families and businesses. Companies with more than 100 employees have to ensure workers are vaccinated or that they get tested weekly for COVID. And we've just learned that businesses that do not comply could face a $14,000 fine. Tonight, the president says he is prepared for a fight.
I am so disappointed that particularly some Republican governors have been so cavalier with the health of their communities. We're playing for real here. This isn't a game.
The mandate's coming as COVID deaths rise sharply in the U.S. Nearly 11,000 Americans have died in the last week. Almost all of the victims were unvaccinated.
We have team vaccine coverage now on the impact of the president's mandates. Let's start with Haley Mason explaining how the Georgia governor, Kemp, is already promising to fight back. Haley.
Rick, Kemp says he just got off of a phone call this afternoon with fellow Republican governors who also say they won't be, quote, bullied by the Biden administration into a vaccine requirement. But we're asking the question this afternoon if he has a viable legal argument to fight back in court. Governor Kemp vowing to fight the Biden administration's executive order requiring companies with 100 or more employees to require the COVID vaccine or test employees weekly.
This is just another example, though, of this administration overreaching, knowing that it doesn't have the authority.
State Attorney General Chris Carr tells me he'll be leading the legal efforts in court.
This issue is simply and solely about whether or not the president of the United States, through the stroke of his pen, can do what he has said he was going to do yesterday, and he cannot.
Carr says his office is currently exploring all legal avenues to push against the order that's currently being drafted by OSHA under the OSHA Act, which allows for regulations to protect against hazards in the workplace.
The agency has not previously done something like a vaccine mandate.
Emory law professor Matthew Lawrence tells me that while government vaccine mandates are rare from OSHA, the courts have seen this before.
The government mandating vaccine is not unprecedented at all. What's unprecedented is the federal agency OSHA using its broad powers in this particular way. And that's why I think, even though I see strong legal arguments that it is authorized.
And we've seen more companies recently requiring vaccination. A few weeks ago, we talked to people waiting in an hours-long line for testing in Marietta, saying their schools and jobs also required vaccination.
Well, I've been vaccinated as well, but like I said, I need proof to be able to go back to work.
One notable court case supporting the Biden order happened in 1905 in Jacobson v. Massachusetts. The Supreme Court in that case ruled that the smallpox vaccine would be mandatory to protect public health, even if it infringed on personal liberties.
Getting a shot affects your liberty. And so that's protected by the Constitution. But the Supreme Court said there's also a strong, it called it a compelling interest in preventing communicable disease in our society.
And right now, everyone's waiting on OSHA to draft these guidelines and officially release them. Then businesses will be able to decide how to implement it, or in the case of Georgia leaders, how to possibly fight it if they have a viable argument in court. We'll be following this story as those guidelines come out. Reporting live outside the state capitol, Haley Mason, CBS 46 News.